Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and today we're going to be talking about my April TBR. So like I said in my previous few videos, I am moving to Colorado, and that means that the majority of my books are packed up and put away, and so I don't actually have a huge TBR list. I am going to be doing a lot of books on my Kindle, which is exciting, sort of. I do prefer physical copies, but that's okay. We're gonna go with it. It's just gonna be a couple of months, and then I'll have my books back, and they will be safe and sound, and then we'll go from there. So because of that, I'm also on a book buying ban. So I am actually going to be temporarily benching my TBR jar because I don't want to pick out a book that I don't own, and because I'm not buying any books, I don't want to pick out a book. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. So I'm just going to be talking about a couple of books. I have 2 audiobooks that I definitely want to get to this month. Shouldn't be a problem since I'm going on a trip next week, and then at the end of the month I will be driving the 9 hours from Utah to Colorado. So definitely going to have some time for audiobooks in there. Now when I am filming this, it is actually April 4th. And so I am currently in the middle of the superhero readathon. So technically this April TBR is not going to be really started until after Sunday, which is the conclusion of that readathon. So if you want to check out what I'm reading this week, check out my superheroathon TBR video that I'm going to be posting up here at the top. I'll also post it in the description down below if I remember. And that is what I'm reading this week, and so I'm not going to go into those because I've already talked about them, but I will talk about the books that I'm going to be reading after that. So the first 2 books that I'm going to be starting with are the audiobooks that I want to get to. The first one have already kind of started a little bit because none of the books that are on my superheroathon were on Hoopla, and the road trip that I had there's about an hour that I didn't have any type of internet or cell service. It was in the middle of nowhere, and so I needed a download of books. So I downloaded Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I am very, very much enjoying it. I'm only on like chapter 4 or 5, something like that. I don't remember, but I love it. It's so good, and it's definitely a different type of fantasy than what I'm used to. I don't read a lot of fantasy in general, but I think that this really blends that contemporary and fantasy together in that like urban fantasy way, and it really, really is great. Plus Neil Gaiman narrates the story that's on Hoopla, and I love his accent. So the next audiobook that I want to get to is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. The entire Darker Shade of Magic trilogy is on Hoopla, and so I'm actually really excited to start that. I know there's a lot of people that have mixed reviews about this series, but I'm excited to read it because I kind of like the whole idea of multiple dimensions and all that kind of stuff. It has a very Doctor Strange feel to it. I don't know if that's anywhere near what it actually is, but I am excited to at least read the first book. If I like it, I'll continue on with the series. The next book that I will be reading, and I'll actually probably start this one pretty soon, and that I'm going to be reading on Kindle, and that is Professed by Nicola Rendell. This is the Book Hangover Book Club's Book of the Month, and we'll be talking about it on one of the live shows later on in the month. And it's either going to be on Chelsea Dowling Reed's channel or Pages and Pens, Julie's channel. I don't remember which one, so if I figure it out, I will put it on Twitter, or you should probably just follow the Book Hangover Book Club's handle on Twitter, because that's where you really get all the information. But anyways, I'm very excited to read this one. It is kind of a student-teacher romance, and I don't know a lot about it, but it was free on Kindle, and that's one of the reasons why they decided to choose this book. So yeah, I'm interested in it. I haven't read a lot of romance books lately. In fact, I didn't read any in March, and so I'm kind of itching to read this one. So I think as soon as the superhero readathon concludes, I will read this book, because yeah, I need some smut in my life. Alright, so then I have 3 physical books that I would like to get to this month. If I don't, that's okay. We'll get to them next month. but this is what I would like to do. So the first one I'm actually really wanting to get to before I leave Salt Lake, and that is Autobiography by Christina Lauren. This book takes place in Provo, Utah, and that's one of the reasons why I really want to read it while I live in Utah, because it is about a young Mormon boy who moved from California to Utah. If you know anything about Provo or the Salt Lake Valley in general, it is the Mormon Mecca. And so it's not a place where being gay is really celebrated, especially in Provo. And so I'm really interested to see how they go about this. Chelsea loved this book. She read it during the Contemporary-a-thon a couple of months ago, and that's why I picked it up, and I just haven't had a chance to really sit down and read it. So I'm really wanting to get to this one. So this will be another one that I'll start pretty soon too. The next book was on my Contemporary-a-thon TBR. I didn't get to it because I switched it out with another book, so I haven't picked it up yet. And that is The Couple Next Door by Cherie Lapina. This is the same person who wrote A Stranger in the House, which is another book that I do want to read. It's a very short book. It's, I believe, 200 and something pages. 308 pages. Oh, it's bigger than I thought it was. Anyways, still pretty small. Thrillers go really fast. And I'm kind of, also with the romance, I'm also kind of in a thriller mood, which is weird because I don't get in that mood very often. So I'm interested in this book. So hopefully I'll get to that one too. And then the last book is a book that I have literally had on my TBR for a year and a half now. Maybe a year. I think I bought this book for a plane trip last year sometime and then never got around to it. And that is Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein. And I don't know a lot about it other than it's a historical fiction. And there was a series of books that I really liked when I was in middle school or high school, I can't remember. And it was like, I don't remember if it was called like Children of the Orphan Train or just the Orphan Train something. And it was like this series of books about children that came out west on the Orphan Train. And so this is kind of a grown-up version of that, I'm hoping. I don't know a lot about it, but I saw a review and it's a New York Times bestseller. So we'll see how it is. So, not a very long TBR. I am coming to the conclusion that I suck at TBRs because I'm very much a mood reader, and so I don't know if I will continue doing monthly TBRs once I'm settled in Colorado and once I have all of my books. I know some people have done like quarterly TBRs, and I may try to do something like that. I don't really know, but the past like 3 months that I have done, or at least 2 of the 3 months that I have done TBR videos, I've ended up reading like maybe 2 of them. And so that just doesn't, I don't know what's the point of doing a video and what's the point of picking a TBR if I end up reading more books that are on my TBR, but none of which were on the original list. So I don't know. We'll kind of figure it all out. I do know that I'm kind of stuck with these unless I just read Kindle books next month. So we'll go from there just because everything else is in a box. And it's this move is a logistical nightmare. And things are going to be in boxes for like 2 months. It's going to be real fun. But, so anyways, these are kind of the only books, unless I go out and buy books, that I will end up actually reading. So that is all that I have for you today. I do apologize for not getting videos out consistently the past month. It has been a hot minute since I've done a video. But I'm hoping that we'll get a little bit more regular in the next couple of months. And then definitely by the end of summer, I feel like I will be able to have a regular filming schedule and upload schedule. So just stick around, be patient with me for a little bit longer, and I promise that we'll figure it all out. Anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.